What if I told you that almost everything you've been taught about success is wrong? Seriously, that the skills you spent years, maybe even decades developing might not be the real key to getting where you want to go. Today, we are going to break down the real success equation, and I promise you it's probably not what you think. So let me just ask you, straight up, what do you think is the single biggest key to being successful? In your job, in your career? Just take a second. What's the very first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably this, right? Our domain expertise. Our hard skills, the technical stuff we know about our field. It has to be that. I mean, that's what we go to college for, what we get degrees and certifications in. But take a look at this number from a Stanford study. Only 12.5%? That can't be the whole story. And there it is, the big reveal. That same study found that a staggering 87.5% of long-term job success comes from soft skills. Yeah, things like how you communicate, how you work with others, your attitude. This completely flips the script on what we think we should be focusing on. So if soft skills are this important, where in the world do we even start? Well, let's start at the very beginning, the foundation. We're talking about simple, powerful behaviors that are 100% within your control right now. You've probably seen this image floating around online at some point. It's just a photo of a whiteboard, but it went viral for a really good reason. It lays out 10 things that take absolutely zero natural talent, but they are the bedrock of earning respect and building a reputation as someone people can count on. And here's the thing, just look at this list. Being on time, your work ethic, the effort you put in, being coachable and open to feedback. These aren't genetic gifts you're born with, they are choices. Simple choices you make every single day. And mastering these habits creates this powerful foundation for everything else. Okay, so we've got our foundation of controllable behaviors down. Now let's move from those external actions and start looking inward. Because understanding our own internal wiring, our inner blueprint, if you will, is the next huge step to unlocking better teamwork and communication. One of the most common tools for this is something called the DISC profile. It's been used by millions of people, and honestly, I found it incredibly helpful for understanding my own tendencies and, maybe more importantly, how to work better with others. It's not about putting people in boxes, it's about having a shared language to understand why we do what we do. So let's break it down really quick. First, you have D for dominance. These are your movers and shakers, the people who are always focused on results, on the bottom line. They see the big picture, they're not afraid of a challenge, and yeah, they can be a little blunt, but that's just because they're laser focused on getting things done. Then you have I for influence. These are the social butterflies, the optimists, the ones who can just light up a room with their enthusiasm. They thrive on collaboration and building relationships. They're the people who make work feel less like, well, work, and more like a team effort. Next up, S for steadiness. Think of these folks as the anchors of any team. They're the ones you can always count on. They're calm, supportive, and they create a sense of stability. They don't love chaos or last-minute surprises. They thrive on consistency and dependability. And finally, C is for conscientiousness. For these people, it is all about quality and accuracy. They are the detail-oriented thinkers who want to get it right. They're driven by logic and precision, and their biggest fear is making a mistake, which is exactly what pushes them to do such high-quality work. And look, this isn't just some abstract, feel-good exercise. These personality traits can have a real impact. This chart here uses a different system, Myers-Briggs, but it illustrates the exact same point. Your personality can actually correlate with things like financial success. Now, of course, this doesn't mean your destiny is sealed, not at all, but it shows that who you are on the inside can have a tangible effect on your life on the outside. So we've covered basic behaviors, we've talked about personality types, but what if science could point to one single trait, a super trait, that predicts success more than any other, something that impacts pretty much every area of your life? That trait is conscientiousness. And just listen to this definition: being thorough, careful, efficient, organized, having a desire to do a task well. Does that sound familiar? It should. It's basically the scientific term for a lot of those zero-talent actions we started with: work ethic, being prepared, putting in effort. Okay, so just how powerful is this one trait? Let's just run down what the research says. You want more money and higher job satisfaction? Studies show conscientious people consistently report higher levels of both. So, check. What about just getting a job in the first place? Yep, research shows conscientiousness has a strong positive impact on your chances of finding one. Check. All right, let's get out of the office. What about your personal life? Studies of couples who've been married for a long time found that conscientiousness was the trait most linked to marital satisfaction. Check again. And this one is just incredible. It even predicts how long you'll live. When measured in childhood, it was the single best personality predictor of a long life. It's linked to fewer strokes, lower blood pressure, even a lower risk of Alzheimer's. Check. This trait literally follows you from the cradle to the grave. So, it's settled then, right? The key to a long, happy, successful life is just to be more conscientious. Case closed. But what if there's a catch? A downside to our collective obsession with this one trait? What if our systems, from school to work, are so focused on rewarding dependability that they're accidentally stamping out something else that's just as important? And this right here really gets to the heart of the problem. We say we value things like creativity and independent thinking, but what do we actually reward? What gets you the A+, the promotion, the pat on the back? It's punctuality, dependability, the hallmarks of conscientiousness. And the evidence for this is pretty stark. One study found that while teachers might say they value creative students, in reality, the students with the highest GPAs were often the least creative and independent. Think about that for a second. Our system seems to be built to reward the drone, not the dreamer. So, after all of this, what's the real secret? Well, it's not one single thing. It's a balance. It's about mastering those simple, controllable behaviors that build trust. It's about having the self-awareness to know your own strengths and weaknesses. And it's about having the courage to look at the systems around us and question what they're truly rewarding. And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. We know the system rewards conscientiousness. That's a given. The real challenge for all of us, in our own lives, on our teams, in our families, is how will you make sure to also reward creativity?